So according to my watch, the car is parked 308 metres in that direction. So I've come out for a little stroll and I thought I'd do a quick demonstration of the old TikTok that I've been using. And when I arrived here, I marked the location as a memory where I parked the car, and I'm using the watch to navigate back to it. I'll tell you a little bit more about the watch in a minute, but first I've got a little story to tell you about how I ended up with a Casio as my main watch for outdoor stuff and navigation. I always said that if I won the lottery, the first thing that I would buy was a nice watch. And back in September last year, I won the lottery. I became a granddad for the first time. For me, that was the ultimate prize, after meeting the missus, of course. And so I treated myself to a Seiko Arnie. A lovely little thing. It's something that I wanted since the 80s, when I saw one of my favourite action heroes wearing it in a couple of his movies like Predator and Commando. And up until that point, I've been wearing either my Apple Watch Ultra or Garmin Epix 2, I think it is. They are brilliant watches for the outdoors when it comes to tracking your activity, navigation with the built-in maps, all that kind of stuff. But I was changing things a little bit. I was getting sick of all of the notifications and my watch telling me that it's time to stand up. You know, tracking every little thing that I did. So I wanted to go back to a more analog world, shall we say. So I went down the route of getting a few different watches, and I ended up with a Casio, a G-Shock 5610, I think it is, and I loved it. Simple, light, very robust and reliable, and it was perfect, but it was just missing a few little things, such as a compass, a barometer, temperature gauge, you know, some of the basic things I use for the outdoors, and a little bit of, you know, navigation trickery as well. Obviously, it didn't have maps or anything like that, but if I needed a map, I could always dig my phone out or use a real one. After all, I wanted something more simple, so out went the Apple Watch and in came the Casio. I need one of those filters so you don't get as much glare, but 119 metres to the car. We will take a little bit of a detour because I've got a little bit more to tell you. Yeah, so I started doing my research on some of the other Casios that had a bit more functionality for the outdoors. I want something robust. I wanted to be able to use a compass. I really like the idea of having a barometer so I could have some sort of gauge of what the weather conditions were going to be like. So I'd narrowed it down to the Casio G-Shock Mudmaster, the B1000 version. But it is a chunky bit of kit, and it's also really expensive. So Apple Watches and Garmin watches, they were in the, I think the Apple Watch was about 800 quid, something like that, and the Garmin watch not far behind it, but it was £600-700 for the Mudmaster. I didn't want to spend that much, so I had a look at other things as well, and I saw that they just released a new Casio Pro Trek. It's called the PRW B1000, and I was really pleased to see that it had exactly the same movement and features as the Mudmaster. However, as you can see, it's not as bulky, it's not as chunky, and I think it just looks better. So I went to buy one of those. However, with most things here in the UK, you can't get it when everyone else can get it. So I had to, if I wanted it, I had to order it from overseas. So found a place, City Watches I think it is, and I ordered it from Singapore. £350, which is not cheap, but it is still a fraction of the price of the Mudmaster for exactly the same feature set. As you can see, it is not as chunky, not as robust, but it has got sapphire crystal glass. It's still It'll take a bit of a beating. Yeah, I could drop it and no bother at all, but if I was smashing it against rock faces all the time, I'm sure it would soon get scuffed up and damaged. So as always, I'm careful with this like I am with all my gear. So I've used the watch extensively for 3 months now, and I have been really impressed with it. So the first thing I want to say about it is this watch is more accurate than a Rolex, an Omega, you name it. This watch is spot on to the second every day. So it comes with something called Multiband 6. So every day it synchronizes with atomic time, you know, over the radio waves or whatever it is. So it corrects itself bang on to the second every day. Unlike my Seiko and other Casio watches that I've got, although I do have to say my Apple Watch and Garmin both kept perfect time as well, because they are connected to the World Wide Web, aren't they? But one area where the Casio destroys both the Garmin and especially the Apple Watch is on battery life. It's fitted with something called Tough Solar, so it's constantly recharging itself from sunlight, from light in your house even. Most G-Shocks come with a 10-year battery guarantee. This is, it's going to last long beyond then. I'm never going to have to charge it, never going to have to replace the battery. Although we all know you should never say never. Although it's too dark to show you now, I'll pop it on the screen. It's got a really good built-in light and the lume on the dial is absolutely brilliant. And as expected for Casio, it's got loads of other basic features such as world time, stopwatch, timer, alarms. Pretty standard really. So on top of all the pretty standard stuff being great, it's also got a triple sensor. The strap is really comfortable, but I'm going to take it off my wrist just to show you some of the features. It's easier to maybe get it in the light. So the first feature that I really like is the altimeter, however you pronounce it. I press the bottom right button and it says we're at an elevation of 201 meters. Just let me compare that to OS locate. There we go. 200.9, 200.7. It's 201. It's pretty accurate. And if I scroll the bottom left button a couple of times, we get the temperature gauge. I haven't brought a thermometer with me to compare, but it says 18.6 degrees. My watch weather app says it should be 19 at the moment. So again, pretty accurate. Next one to check out is the barometer. So that currently says 1005. Now I'm not going to pretend that I know what that 1005 is, but I do know that if you are below 1000 and it's trending down, so it does have a little graph on it as well, then you've got incoming bad weather. If you are trending upwards, then you've got good weather coming. So if you're at 1000, you are peachy. So on the top right, I've got a dedicated compass button. So when I press that, the second hand will point north. So you just have to keep it straight, stand still for a moment. Make sure you're not near anything metal or magnetic. So north is straight down there. You can also do things like set a bearing, and like I did earlier, you can set a memory location, and you can also plot a location on a map, and then it will point to that direction for you. But those two features, they don't work with just the watch alone. You do need to connect it to the app. Casio app's pretty good actually. So you can click on here. You can do things like set the alarms with it, set a location point. You can do a route log, time sync, all of those kind of things. Manual hand adjustments. Loads of different features on here. So location point, for example, you know, I can click on here on a map. Didn't really want to do this because I've got a memory thing in there. But you can scroll down, you can register a point, and then send that to the watch, and then you can use the little gold arrow to point in the direction of where you're going. I've already put that in there, so put it into compass mode, hold it for 2 seconds, it says indicate, and then it'll click OK. There we go. And then it will tell me on the screen I've got 147 meters to go to the location point in the car, and there's a little gold arrow there. If you can see it on the right hand side dial. Don't know if that's in focus. And that's pointing into the direction that I need to travel. So let's head up here. and follow it back. Alright, so the watch says 91 metres in that direction. And the car's just parked the other side of that van, which is about 91 metres from my eyes anyway. I'll be honest with you, that isn't a feature on the watch that I use too often. I do use the compass just to give me a general direction of where I'm heading. I use the barometer for the weather, and I use the altimeter, so I know, how much elevation I've got left to go. Really handy bits of kit. Now, if you're used to a smartwatch, an Apple Watch or a Garmin, and you want a watch that tells you it's time to stand up, or you need to know how many steps you've done, or you need to check your messages on WhatsApp and what have you, and turn-by-turn navigation, then this isn't the watch for you. But I wanted to get rid of all of those distractions. I know that if I need that information, I can always dig my phone out. Those steps are worth a climb, aren't they? Anyway, that's just a quick video of the first 3 months with the Casio Pro Trek PRW B1000. I love it, and can't see me getting another watch anytime soon, although the Mudmaster is on sale in 1 or 2 places, so watch this space. That's it for this one. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.